Hello everyone from a very, very windy cliff top at Danes Dyke. Bobby's not liking it. I've come into this little, come here dog, I've come into this little ravine thinking that I might be able to shelter from the wind and the audio would be half decent. Bobby's not enjoying it, look. I don't know what he's got to say to himself, but he'll just have to put up with me for 2 minutes because this wind is absolutely atrocious. But I just want to talk about something. The idea was to get full panoramic sea views in the background, but that's not going to be possible due to this wind. However, I will try and relay this story. And I think we're going back now, we're going back to 70s or 80s with this. And I received this information from a former lighthouse man at Flamborough Head. I know, Bob, he's not happy. Former lighthouse man at Flamborough Head who wanted to, well, when he retired, he'd amassed a small collection of strange incidents that he's observed as a lighthouse man working at Flamborough, and one at Orford Ness actually, which is famous for the Rendlesham Forest incident. But the one I want to tell you about involves this lighthouse man, Keith, and another, I don't know, an operative or a friend who was at the lighthouse with him one dark November evening. And I think it was his friend that was on the gantry of the Flamborough Lighthouse, looking down towards the sea. And there's anybody who knows the area, and I'll try and put a picture up of this, there's a bungalow at the bottom. Now it's got some communications masts up and other things, but back then I don't know whether it did, but the bungalow would have certainly been there. So that's between the lighthouse and the cliff tops. And his friend shouts him to come and have a look at something. And what they're looking at when they're looking down towards Bempton are two lights set apart, quite wide apart in the distance, two big bright white lights that look like they're very, very low to the ground. So they're fascinated. The beam of the lighthouse is going round, and when they're in the darkness, they can see these lights. Amount of time passes, and this slow travelling object slowly makes its way towards the lighthouse. Prior to this, they didn't know whether it was out at sea, probably, I don't know, maybe even 1/4 of a mile or a few hundred yards, or whether it was on land. But it was close to the edge of the cliffs when they realised. So they're both watching in fascination as these two lights slowly make their way up the cliff. You hear Bob crying. He's not happy. We're going to get out of this ravine in a minute. So as these two lights slowly make their way along the cliff tops, they realise that this thing's actually over land, but literally just 50 feet in the air. As the beam of the Flamborough Lighthouse slowly spins, they catch sight of it, it lights it up as it's approaching, and it's between the bungalow at the bottom and the lighthouse. And they described it as what they saw in the full beam of the lighthouse as looking like a submarine. Black or graphite, dark in colour, black or graphite grey, with two lights in the middle of it either side. No sound from any propulsion system, no wings. It looks like a submarine. There's no turret on the top that you would see with a submarine, but for all intents and purposes, that's the shape of it. 50 to 70 foot long, just travelling along the cliff tops. The lighthouse beam passed it 3 or 4 times before it went out of view, so they got a good view of this thing. Now, I'm pretty sure that we're going back to the 1980s with that, but there will be an exact date if I look through Keith's paperwork. He'd also got a report of orange spheres above the lighthouse and a disc directly above the lighthouse, of what you would call a flying saucer. So I just thought I would share that one with you guys. I found it fascinating, and we're going back 40 years, and we've got a silent object that's about as aerodynamic once again as a house brick, flying between 50, should we say, and 100 foot above the ground. And Bobby's really unhappy. Look at this. You've got to put up with it, Bob. There's nothing we can do. We have to deal with it, mate. And he's going to fall. Come on, Bob. Let's just get you down. There, that's it. So where I'm stood at the moment is Harandale Gutter. And I'm pretty sure that you guys will remember that I reported a big cat sighting in Harandale Gutter earlier in the year. Seen by several people. Look at that. Not an happy bunny, is he? Stop it! Stop it! So I'm going to end it there. I'll pick this up shortly if we can find a place that's a little bit better as regards the wind conditions. Thank you. Bye-bye. Come on. Hold on, Bob. Hold on. Just give me 1 second, my old friend. I'm going to put my glasses in the case. Come on. Oh. So, as people will remember earlier in the year, I did a report on the cat that had been seen in Harandale Gutter. And I travelled through that pipe all the way through. And that's where we are, look. And we're going to climb up there, back to the top. And maybe do another report at some point. I don't feel like going through there tonight. Did I say tonight? I mean today. So, here we go. And there you go, there you get a view of where this water comes through like a torrent when there's been some heavy rain. I would have thought that the weather conditions, as in the wind, would have been a lot more exposed up here on the top of the cliff as opposed to down in Harandale Gutter. But I suppose it's just channeling the wind down there. But I'm not going to redo the story. I hope that we've got it. And I'll just give you an overview. Imagine something travelling along the cliff tops. On land, just on edge of cliff. And up that way, we're off to towards Flamborough Head, then Bempton, then Buckton and Speeton. All the way along and passing Flamborough Lighthouse. What was it doing? Where was it going? And more importantly, whose was it? Was it man-made? Was it something else? 1980s. Did we really develop something the size of a submarine and the shape of a submarine that could travel silently in the air? I don't think we had, but who can say, you know? Time will tell, and these unknowns might be revealed as military tech at some point in time. So if you found that short account interesting, press the like and subscribe. And I look forward to sharing some more with you. Thank you. Bye-bye.